You are currently living in a thermal ticking time bomb.
Right now, your home is a sanctuary of dry drywall and climate-controlled air. But the second the grid desyncs during a sub-zero cold snap, that sanctuary begins its transformation into a high-tech meat locker.
Most people think they will just huddle under a blanket and wait for the utility trucks.
Those people will be the first to succumb to the physics of the Great Freeze.
Winter survival isn't about being cozy. It is a violent, high-stakes biological negotiation between your 37-degree core temperature and a world trying to suck the heat out of your bones through conduction, convection, and radiation. If you lose that negotiation, you don't just get cold. Your cellular membranes rupture as the water inside them crystallizes into jagged ice shards. You become a biological slushy.
The real threat isn't just the temperature. It is the cascading failure of modern infrastructure.
Our cities are built on the assumption of constant energy flow. Without it, the very materials meant to protect you become your enemies.
Concrete becomes a massive heat sink that drains your warmth. Windows become thermal leaks that bleed your life into the street. Your smart home locks might fail in the closed position, trapping you inside a structure that is actively shedding its thermal mass.
The science of freezing is brutal and indifferent. When your body temperature drops, your blood thickens. Your heart struggles to pump this sludge through narrowing vessels. This is peripheral vasoconstriction, your body's desperate attempt to save your vital organs by sacrificing your fingers and toes. Soon, your brain begins to misfire. This is why people in the final stages of hypothermia perform paradoxical undressing. Their dying brain interprets the final rush of warm blood to the skin as a burning sensation, and they strip naked in a blizzard. They die of stupidity induced by biology. You need to prevent the slide into that mental fog before the first frost settles on your eyelashes. To survive the winter collapse, you must turn your home into a tiered thermal fortress. You are not heating a house anymore. You are managing a microclimate. The first method is the creation of a microvoid. You must abandon 90% of your living space immediately. Every square foot of air you try to keep warm is a liability. Choose one small interior room, preferably one without exterior walls or large windows. Hang heavy blankets, rugs, or even plastic sheeting over every doorway. You are creating a dead air space. Air is a terrible conductor of heat if it isn't moving. By trapping a small volume of air, your own body heat, which radiates at about 100 watts, becomes a viable furnace. If you stay in the living room, your 100 watts of heat is lost in the vastness of the ceiling height. In a 3 by 3 meter walk-in closet, those same 100 watts can keep the ambient temperature above the frost point. If you fail to consolidate, you will burn through your caloric reserves trying to heat a cavernous tomb. You will grow tired. You will fall asleep. You will not wake up. The second method involves the physics of conduction. Stop standing on the floor. Even if you have carpet, the ground is a massive thermal battery that is currently being charged with cold from the foundation. Conduction is the fastest way to lose heat. You must create a multi-layered thermal break between your body and the floor. Use couch cushions, stacks of cardboard, or even books, anything that creates a pocket of trapped air. Ideally, you want to be at least 6 inches off the ground. Cardboard is a survivalist's gold mine in winter because its corrugated structure is essentially a series of miniature air pipes that prevent your heat from leaching into the slab. If you sleep on the floor, the earth will literally steal the life from your kidneys through the floorboards. You will wake up with internal shivering that no amount of tea can fix. The third method is the management of biological moisture. You will be tempted to seal your microvoid completely. Do not do this. Every breath you exhale contains water vapor. In a small, sealed space, this humidity will rise rapidly. Once the air hits its dew point, that moisture will condense on the coldest surfaces, which will likely be your clothes or your skin. Wet skin loses heat 25 times faster than dry skin. You must maintain a small vent for airflow. If you feel damp, you are dying. Use any desiccant you can find. Open a bag of kitty litter or rock salt in the corner of the room to pull moisture from the air. If you fail to manage humidity, you are effectively turning your survival room into a refrigerator. You will become damp, then chilled, then dead. The fourth method focuses on caloric thermogenesis. Forget dieting. In a winter collapse, fat is a fuel tank, and shivering is a high RBM engine. You need to consume high-density lipids. Eat butter, lard, or vegetable oil straight from the jar if you have to. Digesting fats creates a slow-burn internal heat known as the thermic effect of food. It keeps your core temperature stable for hours compared to the quick spike and crash of sugars. If your stomach is empty, your body has no fuel to shiver. Shivering is your last line of defense. It is an involuntary muscle contraction designed to generate kinetic heat. If you run out of calories, the shivering stops. When the shivering stops, the freezing starts. You must eat until you feel uncomfortably full. Stupidity is thinking you can ration your way through a blizzard on crackers. The fifth method is the use of passive solar mass. During the day, even in a storm, there is infrared radiation coming through your windows. If you have any dark-colored objects, black plastic bins, dark stones, or even heavy pots, place them in the direct line of any available light. They will absorb that infrared energy and store it. At night, move these objects into your microvoid. This is ancient architectural science applied to modern desperation. If you leave your curtains open at night, you are inviting the vacuum of space to suck the heat out of your room. Close the curtains the second the sun dips below the horizon. If you fail to capture the sun's free energy, you are throwing away the only battery that never runs out. The sixth method is the psychological warfare of the cold. The human brain is not wired for sustained sub-zero isolation. You will experience a phenomenon called lethargy onset. Your mind will tell you that it is okay to close your eyes for just 5 minutes. It will tell you that the cold isn't that bad. This is the umbrial effect, a cognitive decline where your judgment eroding before your physical strength does. You must stay mentally active, solve math problems, recite poetry, or plan your exit strategy in detail. If you are with others, force them to talk. Silence in a freezing room is the sound of the brain shutting down. If you give in to the lethargy, you are choosing a comfortable path to extinction. Nature doesn't care if you're tired. It only cares that you are a collection of atoms that can be frozen. Your survival is not guaranteed by your gear. It is guaranteed by your understanding of the laws of thermodynamics. The grid is a fragile web of copper and software. When it snaps, the climate will reclaim your home. You are a tropical species trying to survive in an Arctic wasteland. Every decision you make either traps a joule of energy or lets it escape. Survival checklist. Identify your microvoid and seal all non-essential exits. Layer the floor with at least 6 inches of non-conductive material. Discard wet clothing immediately and monitor room humidity. Consume high-fat foods to maintain involuntary shivering responses. Black out windows at sunset to prevent radiative heat loss. Stay awake and mentally engaged during the peak cold hours of 3 a.m. The universe is a cold, dark place, and your only job is to stay warm enough to see the sunrise.